By the way, I want to talk about discipline, physical discipline, things like that. Um, like nowadays we have children in our country, and it sometimes sucks to be a child of a certain set of parents because you might be born with a certain set of parents that will not look after you as well as they should, and this can result in you having a lot of scars, a lot of bad memories that you really do not want. And I'm very sorry for you, whoever you are out there, and for the future yous out there. I'm sorry for you. But that being said, this is why I believe that a child should be treated like royalty, in my opinion. I'm not saying a child should control you or you should spoil it. I don't believe so. You should show it the meaning of life and why it has a good life with what it has without having to be spoiled. I believe you should help show the child that to understand that what it has is enough for it. And maybe the best way to do that is to only occupy it with those things, and 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 carefully limit the new things that you bring in its life, especially while spending time with it. You will have to enjoy these things with the child in order for them to enjoy it, to understand that this it's enjoyable, and to be shown uh, the strategy of how to have fun with the limited resources that the child has to play with, to enjoy. So that's just what I believe. That being said, I see. I believe that the discipline that children get, especially here in America, is very harsh. Children are allowed to be beaten, get their ass whooped, and with belts and paddles or whatever people use. And sometimes people cross the line. There's a lot of bad, especially in the ghetto. There's a lot of bad parenting. It doesn't matter who it is, the mother or the husband. Both of them do it. I've heard many stories of both doing it just as frequently. Um, where they're whipping their kids' ass with like cords and just all kinds of shit they can find. I mean, they're looking for stuff in the house to beat their child with whenever they get angry and they feel like the child deserves it. Me, on the other hand, I actually don't believe that a child even deserves to be beaten at all. I believe it's a rare circumstance. I believe they would have to do something so bad to deserve a physical beating, like beat up their younger little sister or something like that, or spit on their brother. You know, something really foul, in my opinion, should only resort to some kind of whooping. And that being said, if being whooped should only be like a spanking, in my opinion, like something that would not overly destroy their skin, their flesh. These kids now, especially in the ghetto, some of you don't know this because some of you are stupid, don't realize, or heartless. You don't realize that a lot of kids are getting their fucking asses whooped as I speak right now. They're getting beat and getting scarred up and down their legs, getting scarred up for things that are very minor, uh, due to that the parent is a piece of shit, a lazy shit that just got mad and just went on a rampage, um, and getting beat with tools and all kinds of objects that a child should never get beat with. So I don't believe in discipline at all. I was one of those kids that got beat a lot. I got disciplined a lot when I was young. It was by a mother, and and it's what I got. It didn't do shit but make me a violent kid. I became a bully at some points in my life. I was violent, and I also hated weak people, weak kids. It disturbed me to see someone who was weak because I had gone through a lot of hard things, and being a young kid at that time, it wasn't easy for me to cry after receiving so many whoopings and all that, and harsh discipline. It was never easy for another kid my age to make me cry. Um, Getting beat up or getting hit or anything like that, nothing would ever tear me up at that point, unless it was a whooping, obviously. So seeing kids weaker than that who cried easily, it was like I had no sympathy at all. I was just very hard hearted. Like my heart was just like a rock, and it was hard to feel bad for anybody. So I it really does something. It does something to the mind, and it takes a challenge to grow out of that poison that it might build on you on some people. Sometimes it doesn't build poison at all. It's just a fucking cruel thing to do to a kid, and I don't believe in it. I think that it's just people's, it's mad evil when it's a person's easy way out, an adult's easy way out to discipline a child, to teach a child, basically. When you teach them through physical, harsh discipline, you're especially with something minor, you're one lazy fucking ass parent. You're lazy. That you can't stay on top of them. Always be around them to make sure that they're perfect. As perfect as you want them to be. It's so stupid. I've gained whoopings for the stupidest things that I still remember. I can't even believe that I would be treated like that. You can't trust humans. You can't trust man. Humans are corrupt. They get out of place with everything. So while one human will be controlled, another will not. That's why I think this whole shit should be illegal. It should be illegal to ever beat a kid. I believe that it should be legal to a certain extent, but only with foul things. Like it should be controlled. Something really foul. There really should be a class that teaches teenagers and even young adults how to be a parent and what to do with their child. We're not learning shit like this in school. This kind of wisdom, it's how cruel you humans are. We're not learning this kind of wisdom in school. So nowadays we're giving birth to kids who grow up to be parents that beat their kids. And this is through the fact that none of them have wisdom to understand the right way of parenting and all that. That if you were just on your kid all the time, all day, every day, so that's what you have to do. Being around them all the time, your kid will be perfect. Always talking to them, always showing them hands-on the way of everything. Every goddamn thing. Your kids would be perfect. They'd be more than you would ever ask for. And parents are just fucking fat and lazy, sitting on their ass until they hear something in the kitchen break, and then they lash out the belt, and that's their way of teaching. And this doesn't teach us jack shit, because you guys live in the world that you claim you hate now, and it continues to be a world that you hate every year that goes by. And this is obviously because of the lack of heart that we have in every little place that we have control of. We control it in the shittiest manner. Whatever control we do have, you guys suck at it. And one thing that we have control of is our own children. The control you guys have of your own children is pretty scary. It sucks to be your child that has to be paranoid at every point that if it just can't control itself from messing up, that it will drop dead with a whooping immediately. And it sucks, man. It breaks my heart to see some of these kids crying, knowing that they're going to get a whooping when they get home. It really fucks me up. Man, it sucks. But the worst part about this is like, it's crazy to me because you would think if a kid is going to get a beating like that a person who kills someone, a murderer, who or a person who's a rapist, a person who does a really harsh crime, a fucking adult, should get a fucking beating too. I mean, I just don't understand how a kid with fragile skin, in which gets scarred up easily, gets beat their fucking ass away. Like, they get bad beatings. There's so you can log on internet news, media. I mean, you can keep looking for days and constantly find cases of kids that are overly abused. But if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, please. It doesn't seem like these criminals get beat. I don't know if they get beatings in prison or not, but I feel like if a person does a crime, then shouldn't they get beat? I mean, they're an adult. They really know better. They know better than better. And what they did affects humanity. It doesn't just affect the family. It affects all of humanity. And it's devastating. It gets people killed. If it didn't kill anybody during the time that they did a crime, it may have been a crime that will kill people in a later time. Like it makes life worse for everybody else, which causes future deaths. That's what crime does. Wouldn't you think a person like that deserves to have their fucking ass whooped? That's one thing corrupt about humanity. How we don't beat these faggot ass criminals. I can promise you they would have less time in prison. They wouldn't need to be in prison for life and things like that. They could actually, like the Bible said, be forgiven for what they did if you whoop their fucking asses. If you whip these guys in prison, not in prison, but really whip them and like harshly discipline them for their harsh crime, whether they killed someone, they raped someone, or they stole from someone in a like a very, very bad manner. Not just a simple theft, but they stole something really important to someone's life that they really needed, especially at the given time. You know, criminals like that, harsh criminals, I just don't understand why they wouldn't get a beating for something like that and get harsh discipline. I think that would really knock some sense into them, seriously. And people would think that's wrong. But we make it okay for kids that do no harm to humanity, and only potentially to a family household can they actually do harm to. But kids don't do things that bad. They only mess up enough to annoy a parent, to piss them off, and they can get a disgusting beating for that. And things like that is legal among us. It only becomes illegal when you send the kid to the hospital, or when the kid winds up dead after enough abuse. It's just really fucking sad. I really would reverse the roles. If it had been me and I was leader and not you shitty gay fucking humans, I would reverse the roles. I'd make it illegal to beat a kid, at least especially for weak reasons. Reasons in which only annoys the lazy ass parent that you guys are. And I would completely legalize the idea of beating a criminal, and definitely giving them enough torture in their life so that they can feel the pain in which they inflicted on their victims. That's how I would do it.